Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Together please. Narayanam namaskrityam naram chaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayam udirayet nashtaprayeshva bhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavati uttama shloke bhaktir bhavati nestiki. Hare Krishna. This morning we are discussing from Canto 8, Chapter 2, verses 1 to 19. We'll just start with some prayers. Om Jnana Timirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namaha Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Desha Tarine Panchatattvatmakam Krishnam Bhakta Rupa Swarupakam Bhaktavataram Bhaktakhyam Namami Bhakta Shaktikam. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. So we're discussing from Canto 8, Chapter 2, verses 1 to 19. And in these verses, did you want to say something? Okay. In these verses, in second chapter now, we are entering a most beautiful pastime of Gajendra. Who has heard of this pastime before, of Gajendra? Maybe. Okay, some of us, yes. Uh, so before diving into this, just wanted to give a quick recap. So, in the first chapter of the 8th canto, Shukdev Goswami gives descriptions of 4 Manus to Maharaj Parikshit. Maharaj Parikshit is very inquisitive and eager to learn about the dynasty, the different dynasties. And then so Shukdev Goswami describes the activities and brief introductory descriptions of 4 Manus, which are, who knows what's the name of the first Manu? Swayambhuva Manu, yes. So starting from Swayambhuva Manu, Swaro, Chisha, Uttama, and Tamasa. So these 4 Manus. While describing the 4th Manu, Shukdev Goswami says in the first chapter, Tamasa, the Manu called Tamasa, he says, also in this Manvantara. So Manvantara, the word Manvantara and Manu are related. Manvantara means the reign period of one single Manu, the period of his life or the period of his rule on this cosmic manifestation or on this, geography. So the Manvantara is the period of their rule. So during the Manvantara of the 4th Manu, Tamasa, Shukdev Goswami says, the Supreme Lord Vishnu took birth from the womb of Harini, the wife of Harimedha. I was trying to do some research, but I could not find out who is Harimedha and Harini. Maybe they were a Brahmana couple, maybe devotees. I couldn't find out. Do we have any information? Maybe. If not, yeah, there's not much about them. So anyway, this couple called Harimedha and Harini, the Supreme Lord Vishnu took birth from the womb of Harini, and he was known as Hari. And this is the Hari, this is the incarnation of God, Shukdev Goswami says, who saved his devotee Gajendra, the king of elephants, from the mouth of a crocodile. So this is one sentence that Shukdev Goswami says, and as soon as Shukdev Goswami said this, as if when a lover hears some new activity of the beloved, that, oh, if someone tells you that, oh, your beloved did so and so thing, and then you've not heard that before, you will instantly be inquisitive. Please tell me more about it. So as soon as Parikshit Maharaj heard this description that Hari, Vishnu, saved Gajendra, he was immediately, his ears stood up and he was, please tell me more. He said, please tell me more. I want to know more about this pastime. Please describe it in detail. So when you have love for someone, you naturally want to hear more about their activities, their glories. So that was Parikshit Maharaj. He instantly inquired, Shukdev inquired about the details of this pastime. And so Shukdev Goswami enters the 2nd chapter with a description. Before diving into the pastime, Shukdev Goswami gives an elaborate description of the planet of Gajendra, even before going on directly to Gajendra, going on to the details of the pastime. He starts with an elaborate description of the planet where Gajendra stays, this place where Gajendra lived with his family, and so did the crocodile, is known as Trikuta Parvat. It's a mountain called Trikuta, and it is a part of the heavenly planets. So it's extremely gorgeous, extremely beautiful. So we will read the translations from 1 to 19, which are full of descriptions of this beautiful heavenly planet called Trikuta. And then we will dive deeper into verse 19. So maybe we can take turns and read translations starting verse 1. Do we have a mic? it's not there.
Sukadeva Goswami said, "My dear
Thank
king,
you.
there is a very large mountain called Trikuta. It is 10,000 years on us, 8,000 miles high, being surrounded by the ocean of milk. It is very beautifully situated."
The length and breadth of the mountain are of the same measurement, 80,000 miles. Its three principal peaks, which are made of iron, silver, and gold, beautify all directions and the sky. The mountain also has other peaks, which are full of jewels and minerals, and are decorated with nice trees, creepers, and shrubs. The sounds of the waterfalls on the mountain create a pleasing vibration. In this way, the mountain stands, increasing the beauty of all directions.
The ground at the foot of the mountain is always washed by waves of milk that produce emeralds all around in the 8 directions: north, south, east, west, and the directions midway between them. The inhabitants of the higher planets, the Siddhas, Charanas, Gandharvas, Vidyadharas, serpents, Kinnaras, and Apsaras, go to that mountain to sport. Thus, all the caves of the mountain are full of these denizens of the heavenly planets. Because of the resounding vibrations of the denizens of heaven singing in the caves, the lions there, being very proud of their strength, roar with unbearable envy, thinking that another lion is roaring in that way.
The valleys beneath the Trikuta mountains are beautifully decorated by many varieties of jungle animals, and in the trees, which are maintained in gardens by the demigods, varieties of birds chirp with sweet voices. Trikuta mountain has many lakes and rivers with beaches covered by small gems resembling grains of sand. The water is as clear as crystal, and when the demigod damsels bathe in it, their bodies lend fragrance to the water and the breeze, thus enriching the atmosphere.
In the valley of Trikuta mountain, there was a garden called Rutmat. This garden belonged to the great devotee Varuna, and was the sporting place of the damsels of the demigods. Flowers and fruits grew there in all seasons. Among them were the mandaras, prajitas, patalas, asokas, champakas, chutas, pialas, panyas, mangoes, amrakatas, karumkas, coconut trees, date trees, and pomegranates. There were madukas, palm trees, tamalas, ashanas, arjunas, aristias, undambaras, palaksas, banyan trees, kimuskas, and sandalwood trees. There were also pichumadra, vidaras, saras, suradoras, grapes, sugarcane, bananas, jambu, bandaris, akshas, abayas, and amalakis.
Bit of a tongue twister there.
In that garden, there was a very large lake filled with shining golden lotus flowers, and the flowers known as Kumuda, Kahlara, Utpala, and Shatapatra which added excellent beauty to the mountain. There were also Bilva, Kapitta, Jambira, and bhallataka trees. Intoxicated bumblebees drank honey and hummed with the chirping of the birds, whose songs were very melodious. The lake was crowded with swans, karandavas, chakravakas, cranes, and flocks of water chickens, datyuhas, coestis, and other murmuring birds. Because of the agitating movements of the fish and the tortoises, the water was decorated with pollen that had fallen from the lotus flowers. The lake was surrounded by kadamba flowers, vetasa flowers, nalas, nipas, vanjulakas, kundas, kurubakas, ashokas, shirisas, kutajas, ingudas, kubjakas, swarnayuthis, nagas, punnagas, jatis, mallikas, shatapatras, jalakas, and madhavi latas. The banks were also abundantly adorned with varieties of trees that yielded flowers and fruits in all seasons. Thus the entire mountain stood gloriously decorated.
We can go to the Sanskrit for verse 19. Yeah. Please repeat. Mallika Shatapatrescha Madhavi Jalakadibhi Shobhitam Tira Jaishchanyer Nityartubhir Alam Drume Mallika Shatapatrescha Madhavi Jalakadibhi Shobhitam Tira Jaishchanyer Nityartubhir Alam Drume. Please chant. Mallika Shatapatrescha Madhavi Jalakadibhi Shobhitam Tira Jaishchanyer Alam Drumai Mallika Shatapatrascha Madhavi Jalakadibhi Jaishchanyer Alam Drumai. Adibi Yer Alam Drumai. Yeah. Synonyms. Now here, I don't find all the words in the synonyms, but we can. Yeah, it doesn't. There's no Mallika in this, so we'll start from Madhavi. Right there. One, a bit down. Can you scroll down? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we can skip synonyms. Translation. Once again. In that garden, there was a very large lake filled with shining golden lotus flowers, and the flowers known as Kumuda, Kelara, Utpala, and Shatapatra, which added excellent beauty to the mountain. There were also Bilva, Kapitha, Jambira, and Bhallataka trees. Intoxicated bumblebees drank honey and hummed with chirping of the birds, whose songs were very melodious. The lake was crowded with swans, karandavas, chakravakas, cranes, and flocks of water chickens, datyuhas, koyishtis, and other murmuring birds. Because of the agitating movements of the fish and tortoises, the water was decorated with pollen that had fallen from the lotus flowers. The lake was surrounded by kadamba flowers, vaithasa flowers, nalas, nipas, vanjulakas, kundas, kurubakas, ashokas, shirishas, kutajas, ingudas, kubjakas, swarnayuthis, nagas, punagas, jatis, mallikas, shatapatras, jalakas, and madhavilatas. The banks were also abundantly adorned with varieties of trees. Batteries. Yeah. Thus the entire mountain stood gloriously decorated. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Judging from the exhaustive description of the lakes and rivers on Trikuta mountain, on earth there is no comparison to their super excellence. On other planets, however, there are many such wonders. For instance, we understand that there are 2 million different types of trees, and not all of them are exhibited on earth. Srimad Bhagavatam presents the total knowledge of the affairs of the universe. It not only describes this universe, but also takes into account the spiritual world beyond the universe. No one can challenge the Srimad Bhagavatam's descriptions of the material and spiritual worlds. The attempts to go from earth to the moon have failed, but the people of earth can understand what exists on other planets. There is no need of imagination. One may take actual knowledge from Srimad Bhagavatam and be satisfied. Srila Prabhupada describes the glory of Srimad Bhagavatam in as to how much in detail does it describe these other planetary systems and these other realities which exist but which are way, way beyond our reach and our perception. So one may question that why does Shukadeva Goswami go into so much depth into the details of this Trikuta mountain? He goes out of his way to glorify its beauty. So what is the need for that? Why can't we just focus on the pastime? So there can be a few reasons for that. Any guesses? What could be a reason why there is such detailed descriptions? Sorry? To establish the position of Gajendra? Okay.
I was going to say that because it's such a beautiful place, like more beautiful than anything we can imagine, and yet Gajendra ends up being miserable there. So it shows that, like Krishna says, Abrahma bhuvana loka
Yeah.
avartino arjuna mamupetik tukonteya
Yes.
punarjanya navedyate. From the highest planet to the material world down to the lowest, all are places of suffering.
Right. To highlight that even the most beautiful place is not free from danger and suffering. Yes. Any other? Yeah. Yes, Nanda Brij Prabhu.
I was curious if the question was just about the descriptions here or just in general Srimad Bhagavatam.
In general, or most specifically here, actually, why such these descriptions? But yes, like devotees mentioned, and there are multiple reasons. One is that because the personality of Godhead arrived here, he appeared here. And when you love someone, you want to preserve the places where they perform their pastimes, and you want to glorify those places, though those places naturally become glorious. Like there are some temples and some places related to the pastimes of Srila Prabhupada, and his disciples are really trying hard to maintain those places, protect those places, because that place is glorious. Like 26 Second Avenue, that small storefront above Matchless Gifts in New York, devotees are still trying to maintain it, take care of it. So it is a nature of love that devotees like to glorify the places where the Lord has performed his pastimes. And not just the Lord, there was a pure devotee of the Lord also in this place. So there was a combined pastime of love between a pure devotee and Krishna. So that place naturally becomes very glorious. And so Shukdev Goswami doesn't just want to jump into dry philosophy or the pastime, but he wants to start with a description of this glorious, beautiful place. Another reason why we hear these descriptions is the Lord Hari himself mentions at the end of this pastime of Gajendra in chapter 4. It is said, the Supreme Personality of Godhead said, freed from all sinful reactions are those who rise from bed at the end of night, early in the morning, and fully concentrate their mind with great attention upon my form, your form. He's saying to Gajendra, this lake, this mountain, the caves, the gardens, the cane plants, the bamboo plants, the celestial trees, the residential quarters of me, Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva, the three peaks of Trikuta mountain made of gold, silver and iron. He goes on to say more things, but the point is, Lord himself is saying that those who meditate or who concentrate their minds on these descriptions, they attain they are freed from all sinful reactions. This is a blessing, Shruti Fal, by Krishna himself. So that's another reason why we hear these descriptions, to purify our own minds and hearts. So, but the main reason which is most educational for us is what Prabhupada Priya Mataji said, is that to remind us that this place is not free from danger. Even the most beautiful place with the most amazing material facilities can have miseries. As humans, we try to create a very comfortable, enjoyable situation in this world sometimes. Even though artificially, we see a lot of rich people in their bungalows, they try to make artificial swimming pools, plants, waterfalls, they have some artificial grass. So they try to create this beautiful environment within their homes, houses. And it comes nowhere close to these descriptions of the Trikuta mountain. But the human mind is so attracted to nature, natural beauty, because people recognize the mind is naturally peaceful in these environments. So they try to create this kind of artificial environment in their houses. And then this is for the rich. The poor people or those who are not so rich, they have to make it work in polluted cities with traffic, mostly without any natural beauty. Maybe there will be some trees on the side way while you're driving to work, but there is no such amazing natural beauty available these days. But everyone desires that, to live in those heavenly kind of pleasures. And Trikuta mountain is such a glorious place in the heavenly planets. Unmatched natural beauty, unimaginable facilities for sense enjoyment, all types of fruits, flowers, lakes, whatever you desire, all facilities for sense gratification is available. And yet, even in such a seemingly perfect place, there was danger. In the form of this crocodile who came to kill Gajendra, who was simply enjoying in the lake, taking a bath in the lake, having fun with his family. Undetected, unpredicted, and unexpectedly, this crocodile, in this beautiful place where there was not supposed to be any misery, he came to attack and kill Gajendra. Bhagavatam says, padam padam yat vipadam natesham, that every step in this material world is danger. There is danger at every step. He does not say only on planet Earth. On planet Earth we see, obviously there is step at every danger. There are wars going on constantly. We have natural disasters. We have mishaps. Something or other is going on. There is no guarantee of life. And so, padam padam yat vipadam natesham. So what to speak of the heavenly planets? All the way from Brahmaloka down to Patala Loka, it's a place of misery. There is no guarantee that there will be happiness, no anxiety, or there will be a peaceful living condition. In Kevalashtakam, it is said, Abrahma stamba paryantam sarva mayam mayam jagat. Satyam satyam punah satyam harer nameva kevalam. That the entire universe from exalted Brahma down to the lowly clump of grass is a product of the illusory energy of the Supreme Lord. The only thing that is reality, again I say reality, is the holy name of Sri Hari alone. Harer Nameva. So all the way down, all the way from Brahmaloka down is a place of misery, a place of suffering, and it is made of illusory energy. So then why even expect or why even plan to try to make a comfortable, pleasurable situation in this material world? It's not worth it, because Krishna is saying time and again, the scriptures, the sadhus are saying time and again that the nature of this world is not meant for happiness. It's just the nature of this world. How can we change the nature of a place? How can we convert fire into, how can we convert it into a cooling element? The nature of fire is to burn. No matter how you adjust fire, it will burn. It is its nature. So the nature of the material world is dukhayalam, ashashvatam, place of misery and a temporary place. There is no permanent situation. So then, how deluded are we to try to create a permanent material situation and even expect that we can have that in the form of family, in the form of education, careers, friends, kinsmen, try to create all this perfect situation. Within a second, it tumbles down by one kick of material energy. So, the scriptures are very kind to remind us of this situation. Do not try to change the material world. It will not change. It has a core nature. change your consciousness and get out of the material world. Go to Vaikuntha, place of no anxiety, Goloka. So, therefore Gajendra, he prays later on in the 3rd chapter, once he has been rescued by Lord Vishnu. In the next few days we will dive into this amazing pastime. But once he is rescued by Lord Krishna, he prays that, my Lord, those who are completely freed from material contamination always meditate upon you within the cores of their hearts. You are extremely difficult to attain for those like me who are too attached to mental concoction, home, relatives, friends, money, servants, and assistants. You are the Supreme Personality of Godhead, uncontaminated by the modes of nature. You are the reservoir of all enlightenment, the Supreme Controller. I therefore offer my respectful obeisances unto you. So Gajendra has the same realization that he was lost in this situation of home, relatives, friends, spouse, kids, servants, assistants. He's the king of elephants. So he has all these facilities. And he's saying, I was deluded by this. But even he's saying, even an individual, a person like me, who is too attached to this situation, it's like, what's the point of this body? What's the point of this external arrangement? Let me meditate on you. Let me remember you. And that reminds me of this verse from Bhagavatam. And this was Gajendra speaking, who is in the heavenly planets, who had a long life, extremely strong, unmatched, unimaginable material pleasures. And so what to speak of human life? Bhagavatam says, Durlabho manusho deho dehinam kshana bhangura tatrapi durlabham manye vaikunta priyadarshanam. That for the conditioned souls, durlabho manusho deho, that the human body is extremely rare, durlabha, extremely rare, this human form of life. Dehinam kshana bhangura, that even after achieving this human form of life, which is extremely rare, kshana bhangura, it is only existing for one moment. It can be destroyed in any moment. Kshana bhangura. What is the life expectancy? Who can guarantee that you will live to see old age? Who can guarantee you will live 100 years? Within 1 second you can die. There's plane crashes, wars, a bomb can fall, anything can happen. So durlabho, even though after it is so rare, it is even more rare because it is only existing for a few moments. Tatrapi durlabham manye vaikunta priyadarshanam. But I think, the speaker is saying, but I think that even those who have achieved human life rarely gain the association of pure devotees who are dear to the Lord of Vaikuntha. Vaikuntha Priya Darshanam. Having darshan of those who are Priya, beloved to Vaikuntha, Nath, the Lord of Vaikuntha, Krishna. So even more, the human body is rare. The existence, maintenance of the human body is further rare. And even more rare, much more rare, is getting association of pure devotees. So, if somehow or other we have come across such devotees, then we should try to preserve that with all our capacity, all our power, and try to nourish that association, try to increase that association with pure devotees, try to take most benefit. And if somehow we've not come across pure devotees, then we should beg to Krishna rather than for begging or trying to endeavor for a perfect material situation. Should try to beg for association with pure devotees because that alone is the only factor which will help us transcend this material world, which is a place of misery. No matter where we go, where we ascend or descend, it will remain a place of misery. No matter how much our mind tries to squeeze out drops of pleasure, it's like when you wash a piece of cloth in a washer, it comes out. It's already spun. No matter how much you squeeze, there will no more water won't drip. Even though it's wet, there's no water won't drip from it. You have to dry it. So it's like squeezing that piece of cloth really hard, trying to extract one drop of water. That is our situation in the material world. Trying very hard to become happy, gain some pleasure, maybe one drop of pleasure. The mind is hunting like a crazy person, just trying to find that one drop of pleasure. So that is not the goal of life, and that is not the best use of the human form of life, Gajendra says. And Bhagavatam reminds us that we should endeavor for that goal which is not obtainable from Brahmaloka down to the hellish planets. We should endeavor for that one goal which is not obtainable by any other efforts. And that is bhakti, that is association of pure devotees, service at the lotus feet of pure devotees. Looking for that one rasika devotee who can give us rasa. Because that is the ultimate hankering of the soul, is rasa, pleasure. There is nothing wrong with desiring pleasure. The mind hankers for pleasure because the soul, there is a certain longing of the soul that has not been fulfilled. And that's why it is said, Bhagavad Gita says, higher than the mind is intelligence, higher than the intelligence is the spirit soul. So the mind can actually be controlled if the soul is satisfied, but because there is one longing of the soul that has not been fulfilled. That is why the mind keeps hankering for pleasure. And that longing of the soul is rasa, it's pleasurable exchange with Krishna. Love for Krishna, prema. And that can only be fulfilled by association of pure devotees who are experiencing that rasa. So that should be the aim of life, hunting for that association. Thank you very much. Gajendra ki jai, Krishna ki jai, Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you very much for patiently and attentively listening and participating in this discussion. And we have some time for comments or questions, please. Yeah.
Hare Krishna. So I want to go back to the original question in the discussion we had, the detailed description of the location where Gajendra was present. So I wanted to extend a little bit more than what was already contributed. So what reminds me of is, obviously I'm going in those lines of the materialism behind those descriptions. But what philosophically thinking about it, I mean, any place in this material world, even in the earth also, it's going to offer us first all these materialistic quote-unquote pleasures that are available to each one of us. And one must be very, very careful and attentive that behind all these materialistic pleasures, in the sequence of events that are about to show up, if someone is not correctly treading on that path in accordance to our scriptures, etc., there is going to be soon a situation where they are going to meet harder times. Meaning, so even in this particular chapter, the chapter 2 of Canto 8, I was searching for the word crocodile, because the crocodile is the main character besides Gajendra, and the crocodile appears in the verse 27 of 31. So it gradually transitions from the first 19 verses that we saw just now, where there is a wonderful descriptions of that planetary system and that particular spot where Gajendra was sporting along with his family and other elephants, and gradually transitions and talks about a more aggressive animals, meaning tigers, porcupines, etc., and then goes even more aggressively where the crocodile catches Gajendra's legs. So that is a transitioning that Srimad Bhagavatam, the way Krishna Vedavesa himself has given it to us, look at the transition, and this is how it's going to happen. So be aware of this pattern, so to speak. That's the pattern he's trying to give us, he's giving us. It is very normal if you are not very aware and not very cautious to be overtaken by these materialistic pleasures that this modern world has to offer us, and the degradation is about to come if you are not watching out. So that's the sequence he's presenting there.
Yeah. It reminds me that we see so many advertisements that are trying to solve material problems.
Yes.
And they really describe it in a very attractive way.
Yes.
The mind is attracted.
Yeah.
But the solutions to material problems offered are problems in themselves.
Yes.
Later on we see. Even Prahlad Maharaj says in his prayers to Nrsimhadev that solutions to material problems become problems in themselves.
Right.
So
I mean, even when you visit a new town or a new city, regardless of how wonderful it is, how wonderful the structures are, the different buildings, the different entertainment centers, etc., those are the things that tend to appear in front of us first when we first visit the city. For example, when we make a tourist trip or tourism trip or etc. I mean, anywhere I'm saying, but it's seldom because of our samskara. Maybe because of our samskara, the bad or quote unquote the things that to be watched out, be cautious about, those things do not appear in front of us immediately. They are they hide themselves, and if we are not cautious, they are going to get us at an unaware point of time. That's the overall philosophy that I wanted to share.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing, Prabhu. Narahari Prabhu had a point. Oh, I think Prabhuji, I think the mic, if you could. Thank you very much.
Prabhu, I just wanted to ask, is the elaborate descriptions provided here, here Prabhupada says, this descriptions of both the material and spiritual worlds, is it to prevent us from falling under the trap of arthavad? Arthavad meaning thinking that it could be imaginary or exaggeration?
I'm not sure if I got the question.
The elaborate descriptions which are provided in the Srimad Bhagavatam of both the material and spiritual worlds, are they provided us so that we don't get into the trap of arthavad, meaning thinking that if these descriptions are not provided, we could think of the philosophy as exaggerated or imaginary?
I'm not sure if I don't think I've heard of that in the sense how it affects our perception of the philosophy itself. I don't know. Do you have any points, Mata?
Yeah, I would say yes, because Prabhupada's talking about how human beings naturally have a curiosity about life on other planets. We look up into the sky and we wonder what's out there and what kind of people live on those planets, what kind of environments are there. And so Srila Prabhupada is saying that there's no need of imagination. One may take actual knowledge from Srimad Bhagavatam and be satisfied. So exactly what Prabhupada says, no need of imagination. So the natural tendency is to wonder and to imagine. And but because we're not sure about whether our imagination is right, and we have pretty serious doubts it probably is not right. And so it's not satisfying. The wonder is still there. Curiosity is not satisfied. But we read Srimad Bhagavatam, it's like, oh, that's what it's like on the heavenly planets. Okay, got it. Satisfied. No need to imagine.
But I think what he said was prevent imagining about philosophy. So how is it related to philosophy?
Yes, that aspect as well, because this. So there is one of the offenses to the holy name is to consider the chanting of Hare Krishna as imagination.
Right.
So chanting Hare Krishna also involves Nama, Rupa, Guna, Leela, right? So when we look at these descriptions of the Srimad Bhagavatam, obviously, the Krishna consciousness movement, we are supposed to meditate on these different aspects. So if there is not sufficient descriptions, I think, like Mataji said, then instead of trying to understand what to meditate on, it can become imaginary or turn into speculation. So
okay,
I think that's
that reminded me that because I grew up in Christianity, and so in the Bible there's no clear description of God, so then everybody just imagines. Use their imagination, they speculate, oh, he's an old man with a long white beard and, like that, white robes. And that's not who he is at all. It's just a figment of people's imagination because there's no description. But as we go reading the Srimad Bhagavatam, we get very, very clear descriptions of Krishna in the 10th canto from head to toe, what he looks like, what his personality is like, how he interacts with others in different relationships. And then so many descriptions of Lord Nrsingadev, Lord Ramachandra, so many repeated descriptions of Lord Vishnu and Vaikuntha. So no need to imagine who is God, who we are, what is our relationship, what are the possible relationships you can have, what are the different features. It's all there described very clearly, very factually. So, yeah.
Yeah. Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
I was appreciating this question also from the very beginning. What are the descriptions from? And I appreciated so much your bringing it back to the spiritual master that we have this human life. And I was thinking about how the spiritual master starts to give us some faith, from that personal relationship. Because at first we're so puffed up as humans that we know this, our science is so amazing, and to the point we think of these things as imagination, like all their stories, right? When we hear from science that there's even other animals on this planet that are seeing other colors that we don't even see, but then we get some faith from the spiritual master, and we start reading Srimad Bhagavatam, and then we have a sense of how small we are. And when we have a little bit of sense of how small we are, and understanding how amazing Krishna is, and how amazing the Guru is, that Srila Prabhupada is. Because we were just talking about yesterday, I was thinking about putting this together, that there's Bhagavatam, and then there's the person Bhagavatam. And at first, because we're puffed up and we think we're so big, we try to, but then we eventually start reading and seeing Srila Prabhupada's and the pure devotees' example, and we go, wow, I am so much smaller than I thought. But at the same time, how amazing Srimad Bhagavatam and the Guru is, and the spiritual master, and how amazing this gift that we've been giving of human life and the spiritual master is. Oh, thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Yes, Mata.
I was just appreciating, Prabhupada brings it out in the purport, that the scope of the Srimad Bhagavatam is so vast. Like, which other book do we have access to on this planet that tells us all about the universe? The Prabhupada says here in the purport that Srimad Bhagavatam presents the total knowledge of the affairs of the universe. It not only describes this universe, but also takes into account the spiritual world beyond the universe. So it's just an amazing, priceless gem of knowledge, that we have, that we can find out about everything in the universe and even beyond the universe. And we're so fortunate, and yet many of us don't read the Srimad Bhagavatam.
Yeah.
We're interested, we read the newspaper instead. So, it's kind of like Prabhupada's giving us an impetus. Read the Srimad Bhagavatam. Get your curiosity satisfied. Get total knowledge of the whole universe, the spiritual world. It's all here, right here. Prabhupada has so painstakingly translated and written commentaries on practically every verse. It's such a wealth of knowledge that we have. It's more valuable than any other kind of wealth.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Thank you for bringing that out. I was thinking recently that how sometimes people from different religions may challenge Vedic tradition or Vedic teachings, challenge the philosophy and challenge, I was just thinking that a lot of these different religions and paths have just one book, and we have so much detailed information, so many detailed descriptions and philosophy, and which some other philosophies don't even come close to in terms of depth and variety. So yeah, it's just really appreciating Vedic literature, the information we've been given. Any other points? We can end here then. Thank you very much. Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Jai Hare Krishna.